Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Schneider. Welcome to the Song Club.
I knew it was a bad idea to meet you here, my dear.
All right. We're doing it. We're doing it, and we're doing it on the internet. Well, I mean, I've been doing it on the internet, but I'm actually filming today because why not? Because there's just not enough content out there on the internet right now. I mean, there really isn't. There's maybe, I don't know, I was doing the math. I think there's maybe 250 hours of content, and I'm including Netflix, Hulu, Prime, and YouTube. I think it's roughly 250 hours. So, like, normally that would be enough to last a normal human being an entire lifetime. And like, if you were a pilgrim, like if you wore one of those funny hats and had the crazy wide white collar, and you were just dosing the natives with whatever you got, diphtheria, measles, whatever you had in your mouth, you were just dosing the natives with it. You're like, here, let me smoke your peace pipe, and let me get these diphtheria muci on your pipe. And then you go about your merry way. And then later you're like, oh, I'm not feeling so good. Oh, my whole belly came out through my butthole. And then they're like, well, we didn't know. But anyways, if you were one of those guys learning about corn or maize, as the people called it, yeah, 240 hours worth of content would be like, I don't know what the equivalent would be, a night in Baghdad for some asshole from the 80s. I don't know. Anyways, it would be a lot of content is what I'm saying. Guess how much those pilgrims had in terms of content, like digital content? 0. Now, did they have all of nature, all of God's wonder at their disposal 24 hours a day? Yeah. But guess who else has that? Me, you, and everybody else. But guess what? We don't want that. You know why? Because when you're out in nature and you're just contemplating things and you're looking at things, guess what happens? Feelings arise out of the depths. And when that happens, it's no good, man. It's no good when the feelings come. And the feelings is going to come. So the only thing to tamp them down, Hulu. But man, I don't know if I've been trying to watch a lot of Hulu, and there's so much network television on Hulu, and I literally have spent my entire adult life avoiding network television. I mean, as a teenager, I watched network television. As a youngster, I watched dude, anytime before I was 20 years old, I was living in a place called Deutschland. Now, if you don't understand German, let me translate it for you. Deutschland. It's where the Germans come from. Anyways, they have this thing called television in Germany, or they did when I was a teen. Now, so we're talking early 80s. So in the early 80s, the television in Germany was real bad. It was basically like community television in the States, but it was the television. Like it was whatever the German equivalent to ABC was. ABC. Heute Abend auf dem Television ABC. And then like literally, this is actually what I've seen on German television. I saw a movie one time. This is network television. This is being broadcast into people's homes. Kids could watch it. I was a kid. There was a film, and I don't know what the film was about because this was like 1,000 years ago. This was like at the beginning of the dawn of time. Like this was not long after the Pilgrims came and dosed everybody. So it was a while ago. But I do remember what I saw like it happened just mere moments ago before I pressed record. And the scene was, it was a truck driver and he pulls up next to a beach. I think it was a beach. He pulls up, parks his car. Now the camera is at about 4 or 5 inches above the street. So when the truck pulls in, I know this, like, you're like, these are important details, Bobby. Thank you. Thank you for all the important details to make this come to life in our minds. Oh, you're going to thank me. So the truck pulls up. You're basically the size of a whatever those blue guys are. What are those blue? Smurf. You're basically the size of a Smurf. So this is actually taken, the camera angle is a Smurf or whatever. The other gnome. You're a gnome or a Smurf. Whatever you believe in. I believed in gnomes when I was a kid, but I liked Smurfs. But all right, I'm getting away from this story. So you're this gnome / Smurf, and you're just hanging out in the beach. Truck pulls up, guy gets out of the truck, takes kind of a look around, then pulls his pants down to his ankles. Now, is he wearing underwear? Maybe. But if he was, the underwear were friends with the pants, and they traveled to the ground with the pants. Either way, what we got now is we got ourselves some good old-fashioned frontal male nudity, which is fine. I'm good with that because guess what? I grew up in Germany. Guess what they don't give a F about in Deutschland? Nudity. As you would probably have guessed if you're just watching this television show, because you're like, I'm seeing a male penis right now on network television, on ABC, Deutschland. And you'd be like, that's interesting that that's on TV. But the Germans don't give a F because it's all natural. It's part of your body. Everybody has one. Unless you don't have one, then you have a P or V, whatever you want to call it. I like to call it the P, but some people call it the V. But the V word is not a sexy word, and the P word is a sexy word. But some people don't like the P word. They like the V word. But those people don't like the sexy half time stuff, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they do, but I don't want to. Anyways, again, I'm getting away from this story because the thing that happens next is the thing that exploded my mind. Because sure, I grew up in Germany. I saw a lot of P's and V's, or P's and P's, or D's and P's, whatever you want to call them. We know what we're talking about. Beans and Franks. Beans and Franks and whatever the other equivalent is. So I've seen it. I've seen it all. You can walk down the street in Germany in a public park, and guess what you're going to be seeing? You're going to be seeing a grown man. And when I say grown, I mean grown, and then grown some more, and then grown, and then how much longer is this guy going to actually be able to groan before he's gone? And you'll see that guy in the park playing frisbee or any sort of thing where you're jumping around completely naked, making it almost impossible for your eyes, which God gave us to protect us from predators, to see his long, lanky, distended balls flapping around along with his long and thin German peni. You can't not see it because your brain's like, what is that? Is that a hawk? Is that an owl? Is that a predator bird? Is that a fox? Is that a bobcat? I don't know. Oh, it's a German penis and balls. Okay, got it. Now I can move through the rest of the park. Oh, how old am I? Doesn't matter what age you are. Doesn't matter because you're going to see it. Now, occasionally, do you see a beautiful German lady? Maybe. How often is it that you see a beautiful German lady when you're walking through the mall? That's how often you see a beautiful German lady when you're walking through the park in the nude area. Not often enough to make up for all the people that you see in the mall that you don't want to see. They're P's and B's and whatevers. Anyways, I'm still getting away from the story. So now let's go back to the Smurf gnome guy on the beach. So now the guy's out of his truck. He's out of the truck, pants down around his ankles, and then he gets into a squatting position. We're like, what? This is we. When I say we, I mean me and my, 10-year-old, 11-year-old self, however old I was. Old enough to know that I shouldn't be watching this. And this shouldn't be shown on TV, for sure. And then he proceeds to poop. Now, was it fake poop? No. There was no CGI back in the early 80s. If you wanted to make a fake poop, you had to make a fake turd and stick it up somebody's anus, and then they would have to have it come out. Kind of like my sound guy, Jay Thomas, thinks they did that in Two Girls, One Cup. But I don't know or care if they did that. Anyways, either way, a turd substance, and I think it's just straight up turd, by the way. Straight up. I don't think it was a special effects one. I don't think it's something they made at the prop room and then said, hey, man, grease up and get this up there because we got this scene to do and we're going to have to film it like 5 times. I think they just filmed it once. Pretty sure they just filmed it at the beginning of the day when the guy had to make a dukur. Dukur dondar. That's Turkish for taking a poop. He just poops right there on the ground. And you can see it because you're a gnome or a Smurf. And it's the size of you. And then the movie kept going. I don't know if I switched it off or if I switched my brain off or if I decided that was when I was going to become a songwriter. I don't know what happened at that point. But whatever happened, I remember that clearly. And I don't even remember why I was telling that story. I guess I was telling that story because I'm from Germany. Germans don't fuck around. When they think nudity's fine or whatever, they're like, yeah, nudity's fine and so's pooping. Because everybody poops, so you should be able to show it. But no, don't show it. Everybody does all kinds of things. Like old people have sex. But don't show old people having sex. Old people, have your sex. I'm getting real close to, when I say old, I mean like my age and above. I mean, I'm still pretty sexy. Especially when I do this. You can't see this if you're just listening to the podcast, but if you're watching the podcast, oh yeah. Now I look like I'm about 4 to 5 months younger than I did a second ago because I'm wearing these sweet shades. Which I was going to wear the whole show because I was like looking at myself. I was like, good God, I do not look as good as I want because I'm getting older. Anyways, if you're old, I mean, I'm still like, I could see somebody wanting to see me have sex because I'm still, but whatever Larry David is, however old he is, he's got to be 70. If he's not 70, he looks 70. But anybody that looks 70 and up, don't show them having sex. Don't even mention that they have sex. Let's just pretend that's not going on. Just kind of like you pretend that your parents aren't having sex because you don't want to think about that when you're a kid. Now when you're older, you don't care. I don't care now. I mean, I don't want to think about my parents having sex. It sounds horrible. All right, I got to take these glasses off because I feel like a douche wearing sunglasses. But anyways, this is the Song Club. Yeah, that's right. Where I talk about songs and stuff. and the creative process. Now we're talking about P's and B's and P's and whatever you have. So I want to say thanks and welcome. Welcome to the Song Club. I'm glad you're here today with me, whether you're watching this, whether you're watching this or listening to this. If you're watching it, if you're still watching this like on YouTube or whatever, awesome. I'm glad. And if you're listening to it, I'm glad as well. Anyways, I want to thank everybody who's joining me that is part of my Patreon. This is a free podcast. Anybody can listen to it. And I appreciate you listening. And if you are a free podcast listener, a casual listener, as it were, welcome. If you want to become a Patreon member, you can go to patreon.com/Bob Schneider and you can join my Patreon today. And what you'll get is you'll get the bounty of my great gifts, which is 8 songs every month, 8 songs that I recorded in my studio, which I'm in my studio right now. And if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever you watch your whatever this is that I'm doing, then you can see, oh, he's in the studio. This is where I record the songs. So usually there's some new ones that I recorded this month, and that's the case this month. And then I usually sprinkle in some older songs. Now you can't get these songs anywhere. They're not on Spotify. They're not on iTunes Music. They're not on SoundCloud. They're not on your mom's butthole. Not a lot of people listen to music on their mom's butthole, but some people do. But you won't find them there. You'll just find your mom's butthole. So you can't get them anywhere. You can only get them here at the Song Club, and hence that's why we have it. And so if you want to get these songs and be a part of the Song Club, you can. Also, I do a Monday night show from the Saxon Pub that's also available through to my Patreon members. And I do anybody actually can watch that on Monday nights. But now that we're all locked up inside our homes, for the most part, I do a Monday night live broadcast from the studio, and that is for Patreon members only. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. So with that in mind, let's listen to a song, a new song. This is a song called A Reasonable Distance. I just wrote it last week. I will say this, when all this shit started going down, as it were, I like to call it the shit going down, I had a hard time writing anything. I had a lot of anxiety, and I've discovered that when you have anxiety, it's almost impossible to create. And I think, it finally dawned on me, that's why people do drugs. That's why people drink, do drugs, whatever it is, because it calms that anxiety, and then you can actually write. But I've been sober for a long time. I haven't needed to do that for a long time. I just love to write songs and make music. So I don't have any anxiety when it comes to writing, even though seems kind of, when you think about it, scary, because you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know what you're going to do, and you don't know what the outcome's going to be, and there's no real skill involved that you can learn. You just kind of have to trust that if you sit down and do something, something will emerge, and that's what happens when I write songs. So let's listen to this new song. It's called A Reasonable Distance, and it go a little something like this. You were lying in the sun with your hands in the air, with your hair on the ground like a foreign affair. I was the man on the mountain, making it rain. You were blowing my mind again and again. From a reasonable distance, I could tell you weren't part of the apartment. From a reasonable distance, I guess I got a little better view.
distance. I guess I've never really seen you again. Now I'm walking down the street with my headphone beating. Everything's a little better than it was, oh yeah. You were holding your breath, trying not to be seen behind the hallway curtain, like in a magazine, while the snakes were all sliding right past our feet, looking for a little someone with something to eat. But from a reasonable distance, I could see it was all in my mind. From a reasonable distance.
Yeah, there you have it. From a reasonable distance. That was the, I have a little songwriting club that I'm in, and that was the phrase this week that we had to use in our song. I wonder where that came from. I wonder where that phrase comes from. I wonder who thought of that. It's kind of a little blue. That phrase kind of came out a little blue. So yeah, so that's a new song. Turned out pretty good, I thought. So I wasn't able to write anything for a couple weeks, and then that came out, and I was like, hey, I can still do this. I can still do this songwriting. I'm not some piece of shit. I wasn't gonna cuss, and there it was. I'm not some piece of ass. I'm not some damn German pooper. Movie making German? I'm an American citizen and I write songs. So anyway, so I wrote that song, and then I wrote another song that goes a little something like, what's the other new song I wrote? Oh, yeah, no, I remember. Anyways, it doesn't matter. How about me just not editing anything? I'm just like, well, I'll just, whatever happens, happens. Why edit? Because that's more work. And I feel like I'm already doing too much work. I really do. Like, I got into the music game because I was like, hey, man, I'm not going to work. I'm just going to, like, have sex, do drugs, hang out with famous people, and die young. That was the plan. Didn't have a lot of sex, even though I do think people think I did have a lot of sex. And I did have some sex here and there. Like, I was in some relationships, and then, I had sex with the person I was in the relationship with. And then in between relationships, I had some sex with some people, for sure. But that didn't last very long because, you know how it works. Everybody knows how it works. You have sex with people, and then you find somebody that you're like, I don't want anybody else having sex with this person. I want to have sex with this person, and I don't want anybody else having sex with. And then, so then you're in a relationship until you're like, I don't care if anybody has sex with this person. They can have sex with her because I don't want to anymore. That's not always the way it works. Sometimes you just grow apart emotionally, right? That's the way it works most of the time. You grow apart emotionally. Anyways, all right, so I wrote that Reasonable Distance song. That was pretty good. And then I was like, so what's the next song that I wrote? What's the next jam that I wrote to prove to myself, hey, I am a real songwriter. I can still write songs, right? So this was the next song that I wrote, and it go a little something like this. This is literally my wife's least favorite song that I've ever written. Let's check it out.
Farts are the answers to the question your mind's been asking, and the answer is there a God above? Does he fill the world with love? Is the answer in this great big book? Here, come take a look. What happens after we die? Is there a heaven in the sky? Will we ever know the reason why? I've got the answer for you, guy. Am I gonna live to see the new year?
Am I gonna see my dreams come true? Does it really matter in the long run? Maybe this'll shed some light for you. Is there really good and evil? Is there such a thing as free will? Can you ever do anything but what you do? The answer still, will she love me truly for the rest of my life? Will she always and forever be my loyal wife? Or will she fuck the neighbor or a boss or someone else? I think I know the answer, I don't need your help. Farts. Yep, there you have it. Farts. That's the song. So I felt pretty good about that one, actually. And then I played it for my wife, and she was like holding her ears, like, "Don't play this. Don't stop. Don't play it." And some people have that reaction to it. I've noticed. They're ladies. Some of the ladies have a reaction. I feel like guys, that's like a guy song. That's not like. If I was like worried about getting laid, if I was like still back in, the small little single periods that I had in my life, I probably wouldn't play that song very often. I probably won't ever play that song, actually, because it's the funniest parts of the song are actually the fart effects. I would play it live. I'll probably play it tomorrow, but I probably will just play the song. And when I say tomorrow, I mean yesterday, because this comes out and then I'll have done my Monday night Song Club live stream, baby. Let's listen to another brand new song. This one's called Fruit Loops. Now, this has nothing to do with anybody that I know at all. This is just a song, and the word for the week was Fruit Loops. So we had to write a song using the word Fruit Loops. So that's what I did. Now, some people might listen to this and go, "Hey, man, are you talking about somebody that you know?" No, I'm not talking about anybody I know. This is just a song about, whatever. It's just a song, man. I don't write anything autobiographical. All right, let's just listen to it. Here it is. Fruit Loops. Yeah. What? Yeah. What?
Your Fruit Loops, baby. Nuttier than planners, your Fruit Loops, baby. Pretend I'm the high level and look like the Scottish king. I try to pretend that your words don't mean a thing, but I'm a scared deer. Tracker got my headphones on. I'll be in Jamaica in my head, getting my groove on. Candy's what I taste like Madonna hybrid. Slip and spit, Bonnie, I look going back in the group, your fam screw. I know I used that line from that song that I wrote, but I don't give a shit. I'm gonna rock myself a little note to myself to stop. Asking for the greatest kiss alive. It's okay if I just make it through the year, not just survive. Your Fruit Loops, baby. Nuttier than planners, your Fruit Loops, baby. Kick me in the nuts with that shit that you be bringing round. Reason don't stand a chance when your face has got that round sound. Words coming out of it, they don't do nobody no good. I try to put them back in there. There was any way I could, but I can't, so I don't. Just wanna get on a boat, drive it to the end of the earth, maybe just wear a coat. No pants, let my nuts dangle in the wind. Open up my mind and let the games begin. My hands are tie-dyed, sleeping in a coffin soon, I guess. Try to make sense, but your lips, they just distress. Everything that comes out your mouth, God, that's always slant. Psychopathic mattress got me on a mattress rent. 93's my sleep number.
Mattress
Ooh,
rent.
I like it hard. If it's too fucking squishy, gotta get a new card. Damn, it's what I use, so I get them extra points. When you're over 50, your body put pain in your joints. If you sleep wrong, you wake up with some shit that ain't right. It's like all that shit that happened in your dreams last night was some real Matrix movie when the reality is different from the one you're living. I think you know what I'm getting at. Think you're in a movie called Harlequin. Fuck that shit. You think that you're the Pope in the Vatican. Take your medication. Take your medication. Take a vacation from all this crazy exaggeration. If you say you don't need it, you definitely need it. Cause your mouth is bleeding nonsense and I'm too tired to hear it. It's your Fruit Loops, baby.
Yeah, there you go. So that's just a song about whatever, just making it up. That's what I do. I like make up stuff. I make it up, baby. So that was Fruit Loops. I guess I'll just play the other new song that I wrote. Man, I'm so good at this songwriting stuff. What happened? I don't know, but I like it. I haven't always been this good at songwriting. There was a time when I was like 4 and 5. I was horrible back then. I would try to write a song and be like, I can't even, they just weren't good. Usually you can't, but most people when they're 4 and 5 have a hard time writing the best songs ever written. It took me, I don't know, I was probably like 11 or 12 before I started writing those songs. What else? What can I tell you? What can I tell you about everything that I haven't already said? Hope that you guys are safe. Hope that everybody's, making the best of things. I know that, I'll tell you one thing. This thing that's going on right now, it's really, really made me. It just has made me aware of life and people and the people that I care about and the world. And I'm like, man, I mean, I've spent my whole life not thinking about the world, not thinking about anything except for my little life thing that I'm doing by writing songs, performing, this routine that I've gotten into. And now this has just completely gotten me out of my routine and just made me aware of, I don't know, my own mortality and the mortality of everybody on the planet and stuff. I'm like, man, I don't want to think about that. I was able to figure out how to not think about that 40 years ago or 30 years ago. And now I've got to think about it again. And man, when I started thinking about it, it was rough. But now, I don't know. I feel like it's been such a kind of a good thing for me. All I know is every improvement that's ever happened in my life, anything that's ever made me a better person or made my life better or enriched my life or enriched me as a person or made me appreciate life has been really difficult and really hard. Now, I don't like hard things. I like easy things. I like things, but not too easy. I like them like when they're sort of difficult, like writing a song. Like writing a song's hard. That's the extent of what I want to deal with that's hard. I don't want to deal with anything more than that. So anyways, this thing that's going on right now has made me think about all these things that I don't want to think about. But I am thinking about them, and they're real. They're things that have happened and continue to happen and have always happened to humans. That's just, we've always been in situations like this, and we just haven't been in anything like it in a while. It's, we've had a long stretch where stuff like this hasn't affected us. I mean, I think the last thing maybe was, I guess, maybe the Vietnam War or maybe World War II, or I don't know. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since, like, it's affected everybody, But even those things didn't really affect everybody. I guess World War II affected everybody if you're like in Europe and stuff. And I guess, there was the Spanish flu that happened in the beginning of that was 100 years ago. But man, that came and affected everybody too. So stuff like this has been going on. Whatever. It's hard. But again, the things that have enriched my life, made my life better, have been hard. And this is definitely making my life better in ways that I don't even know what those ways are. But I do know I appreciate my friends and family, and I appreciate them in a way that I just kind of took for granted up until this thing. I appreciate going out and being around people. Like if you would have asked me a couple months ago, like, do you like groups of people? I'd say, no, I don't. But now I can't wait. I can't wait to be around groups of people. And I just want to go hug and shake people's hand. I want to interact with people. And I've never wanted to do that in my entire life. So that's interesting. So there's, like I said, I think this is going to improve me as a person. Now, it's hard. There's no doubt about it. Anyways, with that in mind, let's listen to another little song that I wrote, shall we? This is another new song. This is called, anyways, I guess I wanted to say, I hope there's a silver lining to how hard this is for everybody. And I know it's disrupted everybody's lives in a way that's profound and unprecedented. But we are, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how everything works out. And I appreciate you being here now in a way that I've never appreciated either. So glad you're here. Glad you're at the Song Club. Let's listen to another song and not think about any of that as much as possible for the rest of the show. This is a song that I wrote called Trippin'.
Got me trippin', trippin' over you. You got me trippin', trippin' over you. You wanna show me your sternum? Take all my mouths, just burn 'em. You wanna show me the dark, dark ocean? Get me all mixed up like a magic potion. But your shits, yeah, it's a Russian election. Wanna roll me in like the VIP section. And you ask me if that be okay. Oh, I really don't know for sure. But hey, you got me trippin', trippin' over you. Got me trippin', trippin' over you.
That song's pretty good. It's so weird. I wrote that song 3 weeks ago, and I've completely forgotten about that song. And I was like, I hope this is a good song. It's not bad. Not a bad song. That's called Trippin'. I don't know what the phrase was, the song phrase. So I know I've explained this before, but let me just do it one more time. So the way this song game works, I'll come up with a phrase, or somebody in the group will come up with a phrase. We send it to each other. Then we have a week. Well, we have a deadline once a week where we have to write a song, and we just use the phrase somewhere in the song. I don't know what the phrase was. It wasn't tripping, that's for sure, for that phrase. But and then we send the songs to each other. And really, what it does is it makes me have to write a song every week, because if people don't write songs, I'll kick them out of the group. And the only reason I kick people out of the group is because it makes me, like, I can't be like kicking people out of the group and not writing a song, because I would be a monster. And I'm not a monster. I'm a good person. So, I'm not going to do that. Let's listen to another song. So this is an older song that I wrote. I like the idea behind this song. So the idea is that I take stuff that's gross and nasty, and then I put it through the percolator, and then I make sausage, and that it's delicious. But it's really just ears and guts and tongue and viscera stuff. And lots of times, like I mentioned earlier, if I go through sort of a stressful or hard time or emotionally stressful time in my life, lots of times that all comes out in songs. Now, I'm not Taylor Swift. I'm not like writing about my actual stuff. Oh man, here's what I know. I'm surrounded by Taylor Swift fans. My daughter, biggest Taylor Swift fan in the world. My wife, biggest Taylor Swift fan. Me, I'm a fan of her work. I think she's good. Real good, in fact. Some of the songs are amazing. And she's very talented. I will say that. Now, am I the biggest Taylor Swift fan in the world? No. Why? Why, Bobby? Why aren't you the biggest Taylor Swift fan in the world? Because I do what she does. Now, I do it all alone. I don't have any help. I don't have handlers. I don't have people co-writing with me, making my songs sound so much better. I got to do it all on my own. That's not true. When I go into the studio, I do get some help with these guys who record with me. They're amazing. Do I think, man, if I had the success of Taylor Swift, Like if I knew I was going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at some point in my life, would that make me feel better? Probably not. I'd probably feel just the way I feel right now, which is pretty good. I feel pretty good. But if I had more fame, I wouldn't feel better. I'd feel the same. If I had less fame, I wouldn't feel better. I'd feel the same. I think that's the one thing that people have a hard time understanding unless they get some kind of fame. Like Brad Pitt said it in an interview one time. He said, man, it really is rough when all your dreams come true. Like everything that guy wanted came true. And then he just was like, still feel the same. And everything that I thought was going to make me happy didn't make me happy. So what do you do now? And I'll tell you what he did. He started smoking that ganja, baby. I. That sweet weed, son. You got to smoke that sweet weed if you want to feel good, man. Who am I now? Am I one of Tom Hanks' children? Was Tom Hanks my daddy? Because now I'm speaking with a patois. I don't even know if I'm saying that word right. All right, let's listen to this other song that I wrote. I don't know, a while ago. It's kind of a nice song. Let's check it out. It's called "Making It Rhyme," and it goes a little something like this. Starts out real mellow, and then I guess it gets better, or it gets less mellow. I guess I don't know. It's been a while since I listened to it. Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh yeah, this is for the ladies right here. Oh yeah, this is nice.
She'll make you wait until she come. She pull out a smile like she was pulling out a gun. Took all the money that the bank would allow. She does it so you don't know how. She'll make it look easy, like she ain't even tried. All I know is if she's selling, you know that I'm right. Give me some time, and I'll be alright. Put it in a song and make it alright, and I'll be alright. Got some moves that I don't care about. Got a horse that don't get broke. Got a gal in Pasadena, she don't know. Gave up the ghost, cost me the most. Now I ain't got nothing but love. Give me some time, and I'll be alright.
I'll put it in a song and I'll make it all rhyme. Yeah, that's right. That's what I do. I take it and I put it in a song and make it all rhyme, and I make it all right, and then I get that money, and then I get that, 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 and then I get that. Oh man, I'm stupid. All right, so there's that song. Let's go back to 1998. Does anybody remember back that far? I know I don't. I mean, I don't remember anything that happened in 1998. I know I wrote this song that year, but I don't know what happened in that year besides writing this song. And the only reason I know that I wrote this song that year is because there's documentation of it. But if I didn't have the documentation, somebody would say, when did you write that song? And I would say, well, I wrote it before 2002 because the song's called 2002. And the song is about stuff that's happening in the future. So I would have known it was before 2002, but would it have been 2001, 2000, 99? I don't know. But I know it's 98. So it's 1998. In 1998, I was dating this girl who man, I fell hard for this lady. Girl. She was a girl. She was young. She was like 19 or 20. And man, I was head over heels. And it didn't last long. And usually the relationships where you fall the most in love with somebody are the ones that are like less than 2 months. Because if you haven't dated anybody for very long, they can still kind of be this perfect person. Once you've dated somebody for 6 months or a year, you're like, yeah, this is not the thing that was going to make me happy. But if you don't have time to date them long enough, you're like, oh man, that was the thing that could have made me happy, I think. Anyways, she decided she did not want to date me anymore. And I was heartbroken. But I knew, like, in 6 months or a year from now, I'll be fine. But man, when you're going through that heartbreak, it is so tough. And so I thought, well, I'll just write a song kind of projecting into the future about how I'll feel in a year or two. And then I ended up on the year 2002 because it was far away. It's 4 years away. Anyways, I wrote the song. It turned out to be the song that made me decide to start performing as a solo artist, because before that I was playing in a band called the Scabs, and I just couldn't play the song in that band because it was a party band and nobody wanted to hear this sort of mellow, introspective song about this relationship in the middle of the party. So anyways, I wrote it, and I do remember I wrote it at a Ramada Inn in Denver, in a part of Denver that was pretty sketchy back in the late 90s. Now, I think it's nicer now, but back then it was rough. And if you like literally went 2 blocks from this hotel, you were in like a real high crime zone. And you can hear, I had the window open, and you can hear like police cars and sirens in the background playing, not playing, like doing their job, because people are killing each other, shooting each other, getting into fights, who knows what the fuck, in this part of Denver that was real sketchy. So you hear that outside the window. And I'm in my hotel room, I'm recording. I used to travel around with this big, like 8-track recorder that I would put in my suitcase, and then I would pull it out at the hotel, and I'd write these songs on the road. And this was one of them. It was recorded onto cassette, so it sounds real old. Anyways, this was a song that went on Lonely Land, and I'm very proud of this song. But this is the original demo. It's kind of got all the flaws. It's got a horrible ending. The ending of this demo is the worst. Like, I'm glad I rewrote the ending. If you're part of the Patreon, I'm not going to play the whole song because I never ever play the whole song. It's too boring. But if you're part of my Patreon and you get this song, you'll see when you get to the end, you're like, ooh, I don't know about that ending. This ending is rough. But the rest of the song's pretty much the same. This is one of those songs that I wrote, and I really wrote it like just basically not as fast as I could write, but I just wrote it all down. I didn't have to I edited a few things out later, but I mean, I just sat there and wrote this thing in an hour or two, and then recorded it right there in the hotel room. So let's take a listen to it. Here's the original demo of 2002. Welcome.
Year's 2002, doing exactly what I wanted to. And baby, I don't even think about you no more. Just thought I'd drop you a line, just to let you know I was doing fine. You know, it's been a long, long time since you walked out my door. It took me some time, I must confess. For a while there, baby, I was feeling less than my best. Had to leave town, I headed out west, ended up in Seattle. Tried to start me a brand new band. I guess things got a little out of hand. Ended up doing a little of that old heroin. God, that was a battle.
Oh, that was a battle. Yeah, because it never happens.
Ended up in old Germany.
Oh, ended up back in Germany. Yeah, I put this thing. In the song, I say that I was addicted to heroin, but I've never. I mean, I may have snorted heroin one time. I may have. I can't say legally, but I've never injected. I've never been a big drug person, and I mean, I never had money for drugs, and I mean, I got sober in '95, so up until I mean, I was just broke that whole time, so I didn't have money for drugs. Now, I knew a lot of people that did drugs. A lot of people did drugs around me. I just wasn't. I like to drink. I was a beer guy. I like to drink beer. And I drank a lot of it, and I loved it. It was wonderful. But, you know, nowadays when I sing that song, I said I was addicted to Heineken because it's funny, and I just don't, I don't know. Something about the heroin line in that song, it's like me wearing a hat. Like, I know a lot of people are wearing hats now. Like, that's a cool thing to do, to wear hats, but man, I can't do it. Head's too big, and I just feel like I'm trying too hard. Like, people are looking at me like, what's that? Why is that guy wearing a hat? Is he a cowboy? Is he trying to keep the sun out of his eye? No, I'm not a cowboy, and I'm not trying to keep the sun out of my eye. I'm trying to look cool. And I don't know. I'm just not. I feel like trying to look cool. Like, some people can pull it off. Like, don't get me wrong. Some people can wear a hat, and you're like, God dang, boy, that dude's cool. But I can't do it. I mean, if I'm wearing a hat, you're like, what, Bobby, why you want to wear that hat, son? Don't wear that hat. Don't do it. And so that's me talking to myself, and I don't. All right, I got a couple more songs here before we're done with this podcast. This is a song called, what is this song called? Morning Song. I wrote this a few years ago, and I feel like this song is sort of like one of my favorite songwriters of all time is Lyle Lovett, and this he has a song where if I had a pony, I'd put it on a boat, and then I'd take the boat out on the sea or whatever, and ride my pony upon the boat. It's just an amazing song, and it's one of those songs when you hear it, you go, "Oh, I want to write a song like that. I want to write something so fucking amazing." And so I feel like this kind of borrows it because it's a metaphor for my heart, and the heart's a bear, and the bear does go out to sea in this, you know, so I'm borrowing some elements. Anyways, when I listen to this song, I immediately go, okay, this comes from me having, I don't think I write this song if I don't hear the Pony on the Boat song that Lyle Lovett wrote. Anyways, let's check it out and see if we like it or if we don't like it. This is called Morning Song, and it go like this.
I woke up this morning and I wrote this song, but I'll sing it just for you my whole life long. I'll sing it when I'm dancing through the tunnel of time. I'll sing it for you even after you're not mine. I woke up in the evening and the sun had gone down, and the lights were glowing all across the town. I reached for you, but you were not there, and my heart turned into a bear, and the bear went walking through the woods that night, looking for some trouble and looking for a fight. It came across a meadow covered in snow. The light from the moon made the whole thing glow. Stars in the sky sang a song about the world and heaven and your whole life long. And the words were something like, it's not what it seems, and everything
everything you see is just a dream. Kind of a nice song. Oh, the birds are starting to chirp. Why? Because it's in the morning. Because guess when I record these? When the house is quiet and everybody's sleeping except for Daddy. Daddy gets up. Tippy, tippy, toe, toe. Tippy toe. Daddy tippy toe. So nobody wake you uppy. Daddy tippy toe and do his thing. And then when everybody wakes up, they're like, oh, it's the start of the day. I'm like, no, it's not the start. I've been up for hours making all kinds of things that keep the house lights on. And I love to do it. I love what I do. And I'm so glad to be able to share time with you guys and hang out with you guys, whoever you are. Thank you so much. If you're a Patreon member, thank you. If you're not a Patreon member, if you're just a normal person, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being around. Thanks for taking your time and listening. If you want to become a Patreon member, if you want a copy of all the songs that you heard on today's show, you can go to patreon.com/Bob Schneider, or you can go to bobschneider.com. I think the landing page will take you there. If you do become a Patreon member today, you can get access to all the songs that I've already released on Patreon, which is literally more than 100. I don't know how many it is. It's 37 times 8 plus a few songs. So whatever that is, 250 songs. You can get 250 songs if you join today. And if you've been a Patreon member for a while, you get all those songs too, but you've already got them. But I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys more than I appreciate the new people because you've been here longer. But once the people that are just getting here are here longer, then I'll appreciate them more. But I'll never appreciate them as much as I appreciate the people that have been here for a long time. But I'll appreciate them more than the new people. So it's sort of like the opposite of having children. So anyways, let's finish the podcast. This is a song called Slower Dear. It was on Lovely Creatures, which came out in 2006. And some point in 2005, I was in Maryland and playing a gig there. And this guy came up to me and he goes, hey man, I make steel drums. Do you want some? And I'm like, yes, I want steel drums. Now, these are the steel drums right here. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see what I'm pointing at. I'm pointing at these two steel drums. He just gave those to me. He made them by hand. And I got them home and set them up here in the studio, kind of like where they are right now. And I just started playing them. And I wrote this song that day. I just started playing this little riff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I recorded it. And then I just came up with the rest of the song over the course of the next couple hours. And this is exactly what I recorded that day. It's called Slower Dear. This is going to take us out of the podcast until next month. You can leave comments on Patreon and I'll get them. You can send me song requests for songs that you want to hear the demo to. Hopefully I'll be writing some more songs that you'll hear next month. If you don't want to wait around a whole month to listen to more podcasts, I do a podcast with my friend Clint Wells called I'm Okay, You're Okay. I'm Not Okay, You're Not Okay. That comes out every Monday and now every Thursday because we figured, why not? Let's make more silliness for everybody because you can't have too much silliness right now. So that's every Monday and Thursday. There's also a Patreon for that as well. I don't want to double dip, but if you guys want to double dip away, or don't. Like I said, it's all free. It's all available for you guys. Whatever you guys want to do, it's fine with me. Okay, until next time. Here it is. This is Slower Dear. Me playing these things. back in maybe 2005, somewhere around there. All right, let's check it out.
I've been making all this money at the grocery store, so I can buy you something nice when you get back from the war. You know it's true. I think about you every day when I go to bed at night. I hope that you're okay, but the night's like a train filled up with ghosts that sing your song while the checkout host dances with the loose carts in the parking lot. I'd give everything I've got if you just kiss my face, make my black eyes burn. A fool like me will never learn. So speak the words I long to hear. Speak them slow and clear. I love you. In the meadow, the tiger spots the gray gazelle, and the next thing you